Today is Wednesday, December the 13th, 2023. Welcome to the show. I should have placed a big bet on the U.S. Federal Reserve Board's rate decision. I would have won some money there. Mixed inflation results have come in from the United States. Tesla is losing big in the courts in Scandinavia. How would you like to move into a war-era house here in Canada? That could be coming. And Google loses a lawsuit against Epic Games. Lots to cover off today. Let's get into the news. As pretty much everyone expected, the sure bet this morning was on the U.S. Federal Reserve Board that they would hold their key lending rate at the current range, which is 5.25% to 5.5%, and that is exactly what happened. The Fed Watch tool leading up to this announcement had a 98.4% chance that the rate would be untouched. We see that that did happen. The current odds also suggest that at its next meeting in January, the Fed will again keep rates at the current level. There is a 93.3% prediction of that. But then things get a little bit more interesting. The odds are right now 44.8% that there is a chance of a 25-point basis cut in March of next year. A slim majority, 52%, say that rates will again stay the same. Then things shift pretty dramatically from that point on. At the May 1st, 2024 meeting, the current odds are a 28.6% chance of a 50 basis points cut. There is a 49.3% chance of a 25 basis point cut. So a lot of money going that the rates will be cut there. There's at this point only a 20.3% chance that rates will remain at their current levels. The latest U.S. inflation numbers are out, and this report shows that on a monthly basis, prices were up marginally, but when you look at it from an annual perspective, inflation rates slowed. Now, month over month, consumer prices in the U.S. were up by a very marginal 0.1% in November when you compare that with October. Some of the highlights there, the price of shelter was up 0.4%, so that's quite a bit lower than what we've been used to seeing in the last little while. Used cars and trucks rose 1.6%. That breaks a five-month streak of consecutive decreases in that space there. Food prices were up 0.2%. That compares with 0.3% in October. Now, on the flip side, the energy index, it fell by 2.3%. That was led by a 6% decline in the gas index. Now, on an annual basis, the inflation rate came in at 3.1 in November, and that's now the lowest in 5 months. The rate was 3.2% annually in October. In this report, energy costs, they dropped 5.4%. That's versus 4.5% in October. Gasoline itself declined 8.9%. Utility gas service fell 10.4%. And fuel oil sunk 24.8% in this year-over-year report. Prices increased at a slower pace for food. They were 2.9%. Shelter, 6.5%. Now, the prices rose for medical care commodities. They rose 5%. Transportation services, they were up 10.1%. There are a couple of stories out today for Tesla that are not good news for that company. They are recalling more than 2 million vehicles in the U.S. over lack of safeguards to its autopilot driver assistance system. The company will be installing new safeguards after the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, they posted safety concerns about this system. The NHTSA, they have been investigating Tesla for more than 2 years now, and they've been looking at whether Tesla vehicles go far enough to ensure that its drivers actually pay attention when they're using the autopilot system while driving. The recall appears to cover virtually all of Tesla's vehicles on U.S. roads as of today. Now, in response, Tesla says that the autopilot system controls may not be sufficient to prevent driver misuse and could increase the risk of a crash. Acting NHTSA Administrator Ann Carlson, she told Reuters in August that it's really important that driver monitoring systems take into account that humans overtrust technology. I think that's a very wise thing to say. Now, Tesla says here that it doesn't agree with the regulator's analysis, but nevertheless, it will deploy over an over-the-air software update. And it says that this update will incorporate additional controls and alerts to those already existing on affected vehicles to further encourage the driver to adhere to continuous driving responsibility whenever auto steer is engaged. Now, at the time I'm filming this video, Tesla hasn't announced whether this recall will be extended to jurisdictions outside of the US. I'm quite likely that's going to happen. I imagine the software is very similar, but we'll have to see on that. Now, in some other Tesla news, a Swedish court has ruled against the company when it relates to its ongoing labor dispute. And in this dispute, PostNord, which is owned by the Swedish and Danish states, it has stopped delivering license plates to Tesla. And this action is in consolidation with a postal workers strike. And in addition to this, a transport worker union in Finland, AKT, it decided that it's going to join the strike against Tesla, and it said it would start blocking all Tesla vehicles that are destined to Sweden starting as of December the 20th. So in a statement, the union said, this means Tesla vehicles or components destined to Swedish markets are not loaded by dockers. Now, this action just piles on to similar decisions that were made by Swedish, Danish, Norwegian dock workers. In effect, at this point, it means that all of Tesla vehicles that are destined to be shipped to Sweden will be held up. Now, if you think that, okay, whatever, Sweden, Norway, Finland, who cares, Tesla's going to be fine. Last year, Norway was Tesla's fourth largest market by number of new car sales. Sweden was its fifth biggest, and the Model Y was the most sold car in Sweden this year. If you're just getting started with your investing, check out our Investing Academy. We have an online training program that's designed to take you through the whole investment process. So you can be a raw beginner, and we'll take you right through so that you're fully confident in making your investment decisions. Check out the website for more information. I will put a link in the description of this video. The federal government has announced that there will be a consultation process starting next month with the goal of developing a catalog of pre-approved home designs, which should help in the effort of solving our national housing crisis that's going on right now. In an announcement, Housing Minister Sean Fraser, he said that this is a reboot of a federal policy from the post-Second World War era where CMHC worked to develop straightforward blueprints that could be used to speed up construction.
After the Second World War, when many thousands of soldiers were returning home to be reunited with their families at once, Canada faced enormous housing crunches. One of the tools that was deployed at the time to respond to the challenges they faced at that particular point in time was the development of simple pre-approved designs by Wartime Housing Limited. In fact, they adopted designs that many will remember as victory homes or strawberry box homes that can be observed right across the country.
So this is interesting. The new program envisions mostly low-rise buildings such as multiplexes, student housing, and seniors' residence. The goal is to have plans in place so that approvals can be fast-tracked, and the pre-approved homes will be in line, of course, with the current National Building Code. The jury at a U.S. federal court just deliberated for 3 hours after a 4-week trial, and it came back with a unanimous decision, as juries tend to do. This was a lawsuit that was brought by Epic Games, which is the maker of course, the popular Fortnite video game. This lawsuit was filed 3 years ago, and it alleged that Google had been abusing its power and shielding its Play Store competition. The jury agreed in this case that Google's Android App Store had implemented anti-competitive barriers that damaged smartphone consumers and software developers. Now, this phase of the trial is completed. It will now be up to the judge to figure out what steps Google has to take to change this illegal behavior in the Play Store. There are hearings scheduled for the second week in January to get to this next phase. As you might expect, Google is planning to appeal the verdict. The company's vice president of government affairs and public policy, this is Wilson White, he said, Android and Google Play provide more choice and openness than any other major mobile platform. So depending here on the judge's decisions, Google stands to lose literally billions of dollars in profits that are generated from its Play Store commissions. But before you go out and dump all your Alphabet shares, it's important to note that Google's main source of revenue, so this is digital advertising that's tied mostly to its search engine, will not be affected by the outcome. If you've ever thought that it might be cool to be able to listen to our videos on podcast form, well, you can. It's been there for quite a while now, but a lot of people maybe haven't discovered that. Just go to your podcast provider, look up Beavis Wealth, do a search there, and you'll be able to listen to us while you're driving, maybe while you're falling asleep at night, who knows, but you can check us out there. I am on this program every Monday and Wednesday with these trending news updates. I encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. As always, I will put a link for our Investing Academy in the description of this video. Thank you very much for watching this video. We'll see you in a few days.